everyone, my name is Marie, welcome to my channel, and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video, we have a little bit of a long one. You can probably tell by the length of this video already. This turned out to be a pretty large build, and it's actually very exciting because it's essentially 3 builds in one. It's 3 community lots and then an apartment, so I guess it's 4 builds in one here in the world of Newcrest. So there's definitely a little bit of explanation to this build, which I will get to that, obviously. But yeah, this is built in Newcrest, and like I said, essentially it is 4 builds in one, and it's sort of in preparation for the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack. However, that is not when this idea first came to mind. I actually have been wanting to build this, or this has been on my list ever since the Refined Living Room Creator Kit came out. It's the one that came out a while back. I want to say about 3 weeks ago at this point, but I could be lying. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's around that, and it's one of the newer creator kits by Sim. And the Refined Living Room Kit actually comes with these really beautiful, more modern living room pieces. It has a couch, and then a matching love seat as well, and then a couple of armchairs that match really well, and just some other furniture pieces like a really pretty bookcase. And it sort of looks to me like very modern and chic and just really pretty office furniture. I mean, obviously it's supposed to be for a living room, but I feel like it just looks really nice in a more modern luxury type of office. And ever since that kit came out, I've just been kind of wanting to do some sort of office build, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in The Sims because you don't really need an office for gameplay purposes. It really doesn't make any sense. But I was talking about this on stream with my friends, and people actually said to me that they like to use just like generic office buildings that kind of do not serve a purpose in that sense, but then you can kind of use them when you have your Sims in a career where they can work from home. You know how in The Sims you can have careers that make your Sims, or you can have your Sims work from home, so you get the option every morning or whenever they go to work. You get an option that they go into work, so into the like rabbit hole career, or if you want them to work from home, and if you click that, you'll get some tasks that you need to get done for the day. And you can essentially just work from home and your Sims won't disappear into the rabbit hole until the workday is done. And so that's actually a possibility or an option for a lot of careers. And then obviously there's also some really fun freelance careers where naturally you just kind of always work from home. And we were kind of talking about that, and people were explaining to me that they like to use generic office buildings to sort of travel on their work from home day. They can travel to a generic lot that is an office, and then maybe you could, even if you have get together, you can create clubs where kind of Sims in the same career or whatever club kind of options you want to use. You can have those Sims essentially just like come together here, and then if you set club activities like programming or using the computer or whatever, you can set as club activities. Sims will just kind of autonomously do that when the club meeting is happening. And so that's the way you can do it, or you can just sort of travel here and pretend work with your Sim and just like use the computers here and do your work tasks from the office. So I thought that was so creative gameplay wise. I would never think to do anything like that, but that was so inspiring to me. And so we decided that it would be fun to sit down and build an office building in The Sims that is kind of functional however you want it to be functional. And then I thought it would be fun to make a whole building out of it where it has more like buildings or like lots going on at the same time. So essentially that's how this turned into 3 things all at once. So it is a 2-story office building. That's the building here on the far left, the one that we're putting windows and doors on right now. Then in the middle, there's going to be a really cute and small cafe. It's kind of like modern-ish and very colorful and just really fun. I really like the vibe of the cafe. I think cafes are my favorite community lots to build. I just really enjoy them. I know we have so many different types of community lots these days, but still cafes are my favorites to do. I just think they're so creative, and I just really enjoy doing those. So yeah, obviously, naturally, I had to add in a little cafe for this one. And then on the far right is where we have a really nice gym that definitely feels more like an exclusive, more expensive, like personal trainer type of gym that has 2 stories. There's just like some gym equipment on the ground floor, and then upstairs there is a yoga room or like a yoga studio type thing as well. And then obviously some locker rooms and bathrooms and stuff like that. So that's essentially what I am building here. And then also on the top floor, so on the 3rd floor for the building all the way on the left, is actually where I created a small 2-bedroom apartment as well. And that's basically where the new pack comes into play. Because I think for the new pack businesses and hobbies, this could potentially work really nicely. And I've been kind of thinking about that because the idea for this was born before the businesses and hobbies expansion was actually announced. So before we knew anything about how that was going to function and how that was going to work. So I didn't really start building that with building this with that in mind. But now that I'm like just kind of thinking about it some more, I think it's pretty functional with the new small business law type. What will happen is that you are going to have to run all these businesses essentially from one household, but you could definitely do that. You could have a household live in the apartment, and that's kind of what I was thinking of as well, because naturally we have these offices, and I'm not sure what you could use those for. But for the apartment, I was imagining a couple living there, and one of the Sims runs the gym and the other one runs the cafe. So essentially they each have their business. And I think that could be really, really cute to run it that way. Obviously, with the new pack, I'm not exactly sure like if that would count as 2 businesses. I don't know if you can have 2 separate businesses on the same lot, or if you could just have one business on this lot, and then you're just going to have to set a bunch of business activities. So maybe working out, but also drinking coffee, but also maybe using the computers, working, programming. I'm not exactly sure if you wanted the offices to run, then you could definitely do that. And then they did show off that ticket kiosk thing and how that would function. So you could probably use that, place it, and set either an hourly or a one-time rate for Sims to be able to quote unquote use your business. So that would be kind of fun, especially for the gym and for the office, but also for the cafe. I'm not exactly sure if you can sell coffee, or if you just set an hourly rate or a one-time fee for Sims to come in, and then you just kind of work as a barista at the cafe and just like hand out coffee. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how that plays out when the pack actually comes out. But since the possibilities seem kind of endless with what they showed us in the trailers and what they explained in the trailers, especially with cross-pack compatibility, I feel like the possibilities for businesses in that regard are going to be basically endless. Also with all the different club activities. You can sell things, or like I explained, you can set an hourly rate or a one-time fee for people to come in that they pay. So there's going to be so many different types of things that you can do with these businesses. So the possibilities are essentially going to be endless. And that's why I think that this lot would definitely work with the new pack as well. It just takes a little bit of figuring out, but I'm kind of excited to see how you could have your Sims run this. It would definitely be a lot of work because there's a lot going on here. There's a gym, a cafe, offices, like there's so much to do. But I think that could be kind of fun. And then you could hire people. Maybe you could hire a Sim to work as the barista, or you could have people like work as a personal trainer. I don't know if you can do that actually, but I think that would be kind of fun. If you could have them give like workout tips or something like that. I don't know, but I think that would be kind of fun to do. So yeah, there's lots to explore, especially when the new pack comes out. But before the new pack comes out, or if you're not getting the new pack, obviously not everyone's going to get it. That makes so much sense. You could use this as, well, I think the most fun thing to do would be to set it as a cafe. So you have a barista show up and you have Sims kind of like use the cafe. I think that would be kind of fun. And then you can just kind of pretend that your Sims are going to the gym, because for the gym to be functional, you don't really need a like a gym lot type. You can just go in and do your workout. You just won't have any personal trainers or like trainers walking around to ask for workout tips and stuff like that, or ask them to mentor. You just won't have that, but I don't think that's super necessary. So you could set it as a cafe and then just have the barista there, use the gym the way you see fit, and then also use the offices the way you see fit, maybe for, like I explained, like club meetings or something like that. I think you could definitely get really creative gameplay wise with this building or with this lot, and I just had so much fun thinking of all the possibilities building this lot. I built this over on stream, so I was obviously chatting with my community in the meantime as well, and just coming up with ideas on how to make this functional and how this would be so fun to use in your game. And I definitely feel like I want to give it a go, because I personally am not super creative when it comes to gameplay or careers. Like the working from home and then traveling to an office. I would never think of that if no one told me that they did that in their game, and then that inspires me, obviously. But I'm definitely more of a builder than a gameplay person, so those ideas just don't really come to mind naturally for me. But now that I know that that's an option, I just feel like that is so creative, and it opens up so many doors. You could build so many different types of offices. Maybe if you have your sim in the photographer career, for example, like the photographer, I think that's a freelance career if I'm not mistaken. You could set up an office, but then include like a photo studio. I think that'd be so fun. And then for all different types of work from home careers, you could set up offices. I think that would be so fun. This one I kept very generic. It's just a very corporate looking generic office with a bunch of cubicles and desks and a little meeting room and a little kitchenette, stuff like that. So this one's definitely very generic that you could use for essentially any type of career, but it definitely feels very businessy. So maybe the business career, maybe the journalist career, I think that would be kind of fun. But anything basically that requires a desk and a computer, I feel like could work for this office. And then of course here in the middle we have the cafe. I think personally the cafe is my favorite part of this lot. I think that one turned out so fun. Also because, like I said already, cafes are just my favorite community lots to build. I think they're so much fun, and there's so many different types of styles you could do, I feel, and I just really enjoy them. So yeah, that was fun for me. And I actually sort of made this pretty modern. It basically doesn't really look like a very modern little row of buildings. It looks kind of more on the older side of things, I guess. But then especially the gym and the cafe, but also the offices in a way, do definitely feel very renovated. So I definitely feel like this building or this row of buildings was basically bought by someone and then was renovated and like turned into what it is now. And before it was probably very old. You can see that they put in all these beautiful new large floor-to-ceiling windows, and it just feels very modern and light and bright and friendly and also inviting, I feel. So I think that's what happened with this building when you kind of think of what the lore would be for this type of a building. So it doesn't necessarily look very modern, but it looks very renovated, especially with all those new windows and such. I think that looks very cute. Also here, I was definitely trying to create a little bit of curb appeal here. I basically created the illusion of a sidewalk with a small platform. I essentially built this entire building on a platform so that I could have a little sidewalk going on there with a little step up moment. So that's what I did, and I think the curb appeal looks very cute, especially with a little area out front by the cafe with the tables and chairs, and I just think it looks very, very city-like almost, but not like super like big city-like, but more like small town city. I'm not sure if that makes any sense, but I just feel like that's the vibe I was going for. It looks pretty nice here in Newcrest as well. I think it fits in kind of nicely. I didn't think it would, because I feel like Newcrest is just such a suburb type of area. But now that I placed a community lot here on this build, which or on this lot, which I barely ever do. I don't think I've ever done, well, actually that's a lie. I think I've done a pool/gym on this lot before. But other than that, I don't really ever use it for community lots. So I think it's a nice change of pace, and I feel like it fits really, really well here. And so I think it's going to be a really fun thing to travel to for your Sims as well. But here you can see we have moved on to the interior here. So this is the ground floor of the office building. So I tried to keep it very simple. So basically just walk through the front door into the office. We have a couple of cubicles here and then a couple of desks against the wall, surrounded by bookcases. I immediately obviously had to use those really beautiful bookcases from the refined living room kit that essentially inspired this entire build. So I obviously had to use that, and I repeated that a bunch of times. And then here we just have, well, I guess a bunch of desks and some magazines and anything business-like, office-like that I could find in the game. Essentially, I basically placed in here. But look at those really beautiful sofas. I just feel like those are so cool. Those are from the Refined Living Room kit. And do you understand what I mean when I say, like, it looks so good in a modern kind of luxury office type thing? I don't know, it just looks very corporate. It also looks very comfy and cozy, especially if you put some throw pillows in it. It looks very cutesy and just like, well, not cutesy, but really nice and comfortable and cozy for a living room. But when you just keep them as is, I just feel like they work so nicely in a more modern office setup. So that's what I went for here as well. And I kept the colors very neutral. We used a lot of beige, a lot of gray. Obviously there is a little bit of color going on because we have some green doors and window frames and stuff. So there is some subtle color going on, but not a whole lot. And then here in the back is actually where we have a small kitchenette. So this is where I ended up placing some counters, a fridge, a microwave. It's not a full-on kitchen, it's just a kitchenette, so there's no stovetop or anything, but I feel like this is perfect for a break room. And also, one thing I didn't keep in mind when it comes to the functionality for when the new pack comes out is there isn't really any staff rooms in this building, but I feel like this kitchenette is actually perfect also for staff to use. Maybe you could even set this to a staff room and just not have it be public so that random Sims visiting your lot won't actually use the fridge instead of buy something to eat at the cafe, you know what I mean? I think actually that would work really well. So that is definitely something you could do. You could just set this kitchenette as a staff room or employee only area, I think is what they call it. And I think that would be a really, really good fit now that I think about it. The only thing is that your Sims or the people visiting your lot won't be able to go upstairs in this area because there's some more office space upstairs as well. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you could change the door situation. There is also a door off to the side that I kind of used as the front door for the apartment. So that is definitely something that maybe the Sims or the Sims visiting this lot could use and then go upstairs. I'm not exactly sure, but those are details. I feel like that is something that's basically pretty manageable. But then here, moving on to the second floor of the offices is where we have, well, a small landing here, of course, where I have 2 bathrooms. So there are bathrooms for Sims to use that actually visit or use this office. I actually put bathrooms in any 3 or like in all 3 of these separate builds essentially. So they really are separate builds. They all have their own facilities. So yeah, we have a couple of bathrooms over here, and then we have a little bit more office space here on the second floor as well with some more desks. And for this area, I was more so going for maybe you could just like rent a desk here for the day if you are someone that works from home, if you have your own business or whatever. And you know those places where you could just kind of like get a membership for, and then there are like a bunch of workspaces that you can use. That is the thing that exists, obviously, and that's kind of what I was thinking of for the second floor of this office building. So this has some other desks. It feels a little bit less corporate and more, I guess, modern, and there's a little bit more freedom to this, if that makes any sense. There's still a lot of like bookcases and such, and I just repeated the same furniture that I used downstairs to kind of have it feel cohesive. But I did place, instead of computers, I put laptops on all these desks to kind of show that Sims are using this to kind of freely work for the day. You know, it's not their everyday office. They don't work in this building. They just go here and like rent a desk, if you could put it like that, or just like pay to work here for the day, or how many hours you kind of want to work here for. That's also where the ticket kiosk kind of thingy comes in place. So with the new pack, I think that's perfect for this. So yeah, these desks are a little bit less organized. There's just like some random laptops and stuff that people brought, like books, notes, pens, that sort of thing. So just to kind of show that there's a little bit more freedom going on here. And then in the back is also going to be a little meeting room, which I think was so much fun to add. I really, really wanted to add a meeting room to this office. I just felt like that would be so perfect and would make so much sense. There's going to be a bunch of filing cabinets, and even though the Sims working upstairs could definitely use the kitchenette downstairs, it's basically supposed to be for both floors. I did also put a small fridge here just in this area and also a microwave. In reality, that would be horrible because imagine someone heating up their fish leftovers in the microwave up here. That would absolutely be the worst. But you know, in Sims reality, we don't really have to think about that. So I thought it would be convenient to have a little mini fridge and a microwave up here as well to just grab some snacks. I thought that would be nice. And then here we have a really, really small and cramped little meeting room, but I did think this was the perfect fit. So we have a 6-seater table here with these really beautiful desk chairs. They're not actually desk chairs, but they do kind of look like fancy desk chairs from the, I think it's the Life and Death expansion is where they came with. I could be lying, but I think that's what they came with. So I placed those in here, and then also a TV on the wall and a little whiteboard in the back from high school years that I had to size down because those things are huge. So I placed that in there, and I just think that that was a perfect little meeting room, very official kind of looking meeting room. I just thought that that was really fun. And then we're moving on to the cafe. I did actually have to cut out the floor planning for this video because the footage was all over the place. I essentially did a little bit of floor planning, a little bit of window placing, and then some more floor planning, and then some more window placement, and it was just the worst footage in the world, especially sped up, and I couldn't really make any sense of it whatsoever. So I did cut out the floor planning of this, which I know is kind of annoying because you can't really get a sense of what the building looks like, but I obviously will show you at the end when we do a full tour of the place. I will show you what it looks like. I will give you an overview of the floor plan. It's all going to be fine. But for now, we have moved on to the cafe, and the cafe is actually really, really small. So I definitely had to fiddle around with a layout for this a little bit, but I think it worked out really, really nice. I am using the cafe barista bar setup thingy from Get Together because obviously that's the only cafe setup that we really have in the game. But I do know that there is another barista thing coming with the new expansion pack, and that one looks so much more modern from what they showed us in the trailers. And I just really wish we could use that in here, but obviously it's not out yet, so we couldn't. But I think I might actually replace, if I end up using this lot for my own gameplay, I might actually end up replacing this barista setup for the more modern one with a new pack, but maybe I won't because I do like how it looks in here, even though I would have preferred a more modern looking one, you know? I think it still looks kind of nice. And then here for this cafe, as you can see, it's very, very colorful. I used a combination of blue, green, and then some lighter woods, and then this like really nice light pink color as well. So I just think that that turned out really, really nice. This flooring that I'm using is actually from the rewards, like the gameplay rewards that are going on right now. I just can't think of the name. I always forget the name of this rewards. I think it's the Blast from the Past rewards? Is that what they're called? Oh my goodness, I think that's actually the title. Yeah, that's what this flooring came with. So unfortunately, if you are not doing the gameplay reward thingy and you have not unlocked this flooring, I think it will automatically change to something else, to another base game floor. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, you could obviously change it to any light wood. I just think that light wood looks really, really good in here with the colors that we're going for. I'm obsessed with the color scheme in this cafe. It's absolutely my favorite part of this build. I just think it turned out so much fun. And then here in the back is where we have a little storage closet and then also a small bathroom to use for the cafe customers, of course, but also for the people working at the cafe here. And this is by no means, by the way, a limited pack build. As you can see, I'm using a lot of different packs, but something I also was heavily using because I'm so obsessed with it is the new tiles from base game. So I'm using that honeycomb tile that on the floor for all of the bathrooms actually. And then I'm also using that matching subway tile on the walls in a bunch of different colors throughout this build because I just think it's so pretty and I can't stop using it. I love especially that subway tile. I think is absolutely phenomenal and I just can't stop using it. I think it's so, so good. So yeah, I definitely use that a bunch of times and that is actually base game. I cannot believe that that's actually base game. I also decorated the back of the cafe. The cafe actually has a little back door leading outside, obviously, and that's where I placed some more tables and chairs. So the cafe has a couple of tables and chairs inside, but then also outside, out front, but also in the back. So I think that's nice. There's a bunch of seating. And then after that, we're moving on to the gym. So the gym actually also has a lofted situation, and that's how I feel like the gym and cafe kind of tie in together style-wise. Even though the gym is a lot more industrial, I use a lot of concrete and exposed brick and gray and black, and it's just like a little bit more or a lot more industrial than the cafe next door, but style wise they're kind of similar. And that's why I was thinking that the people living in the apartment could be a couple and they're running both the cafe and the gym. So they invested in that, they basically renovated that or created or like built the gym and built the cafe into this building, and they're running both. And I just feel like that makes so much sense because you could kind of tell that both these areas are just nicely renovated recently. Style-wise, they're kind of similar, but a little different, you know what I mean? So I just thought that that was a really cute idea for the storyline. But here you can see I was trying to create this gym here, and I was definitely going for a bit of a luxury vibe. There are like 3 treadmills, 4 weightlifting machines, 2 punching bags, so there's definitely still a lot of room for a lot of Sims to use this gym at the same time. But I didn't really want to overdo it, you know? I didn't want this gym to just like look like it would be super crowded and busy all the time. I wanted to be a little bit more luxurious and a little bit more exclusive in that sense. And I think you could also, for the business lots that is coming with a new pack, I think they showed off that you can actually set a target customer group thingy. So, for example, you could set it so that only famous Sims can maybe come into this gym, or only attracted to go to this gym, I guess you could call it. I think that's how it works. Or like wealthier Sims, I think you could set their financial status as well. So that's kind of interesting to see how that plays out. That is definitely something you could do if you were going to run this as a gym. You could set it to like wealthy, famous Sims are the only ones that can come in here and use the gym, that kind of thing. And then set the hourly rate for this, like really expensive. I think that's definitely something you could do. It's kind of fun. But yeah, you can see that this gym definitely feels a little bit more exclusive. It is more luxury. I do really like the colors. I'm using a bunch of gray and black, which obviously is just like gray and black. But then I really enjoyed using the Love Struck gym equipment that is black, but also has some like really fun colors to it. So the treadmills are black and then pink, like neon pink, and I just think that is really, really pretty. So there's definitely some color accents here, but for the most part, it is very neutral, a lot of gray and a lot of black. And then here upstairs on the lofted, or in the lofted section, is where we have a really small gym area. There's only space for 3 people to actually follow the yoga class. Did I say gym? I meant yoga class. So there's a yoga class here with a instructor mat and then 3 mats for Sims to use to follow the class. So there's not that much space, which kind of ties into the whole exclusiveness of this gym, I guess. So that's what we have. And then in the back here is where we have a locker room and a couple of bathrooms. I do realize that the showers and the toilets are in the same bathroom, so if someone's using the shower, you can't use the bathroom, but I just think that that's going to be what it is for this gym. That just made the most sense floor plan wise, because I definitely wanted there to be some space for lockers as well. So that's what I ended up doing here. We just have a couple of lockers and then some sinks here in the shared like locker room space, I guess. I thought that would be nice. So, and then I realized I was using an archway into the dressing room instead of a door, and it might be nice to have a little bit of privacy. So I placed a door instead. And then these really cool decals, I think those are also from Love Struck. Love Struck came with some great gym stuff, actually. So that was really fun to use in here. It's more modern and it just looks a little bit better than the base game stuff that we have. We have gym equipment with other packs as well, but I just really like the Love Struck ones, also because it comes with those dumbbells and stuff, and I really wish those were functional. It would have been so cool if they added in more exercises that your sim could do with like kettlebells and dumbbells. That would have been perfect, but unfortunately the kettlebells and dumbbells are just decorative, but obviously I had to place them in the gym anyway. And then we're moving on to the apartment. So we're basically moving back to the office building. And then in the back of the office building is a small hallway that leads up to this area where there's a staircase going up to the apartment. It's kind of difficult to explain, but I'll show you in a minute here when we're going to do a tour of this place. I'll show you the floor plan and it will all make sense. But I do think that this apartment turned out really fun. It was actually more spacious than I thought it was going to be. And I definitely have the space for 2 bedrooms. However, I turned one of the bedrooms into an office because I was thinking of a couple with no kids living in this apartment, a couple no kids, and then a cat or maybe 2 cats. I thought that was going to be cute. I added a cat tree into this apartment. I don't know why, but I've been doing cat trees essentially for all my builds lately. Don't know what it is about that. I mean, I do love cats. I have one myself, so that's probably why, but I've been giving all my Sims cats lately. So yeah, that's really cute. And then in here, we're definitely going for a bit of a darker color scheme. So for this apartment, I was kind of trying to go a little bit more moody, I guess. Even though the office downstairs and then also the cafe are a little bit more, I guess, well, the cafe isn't necessarily very light, it's more so very colorful, but also kind of light, I guess, with the light wood floors and such. And then the office is also very light. But then for this apartment upstairs, I kind of wanted to kind of show that this is sort of an older building by using some less renovated or updated colors, if that makes any sense. Like, I use a lot of darker wood in here. This fireplace, because of that, looks maybe a little bit more on the older side of things. By no means dated, but like maybe just older. You can tell that the doors are like dark brown. The closet door is dark brown. I was just kind of trying to tell the story where the lots downstairs, so the office, the gym, and the cafe, were very much recently renovated. But then this apartment, not so much. Like, they definitely painted the walls, but other than that, like, and they obviously have some like nicer furniture. Some pieces are a little bit more modern, some pieces are a little bit more traditional looking, I guess. But overall, I was just going for the vibe where maybe the apartment upstairs, it's nicely decorated and painted and such, but it's by no means very recently renovated or anything, but it's still nice. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the story I was trying to tell here. So they do have this entryway space basically leading into the apartment, and then off the hallway area is also where I placed the door into the bathroom, which is a little bit annoying if you are, if your sim needs to use the bathroom at night. It's kind of far away from the bedroom, but it's not that bad, I don't think. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. But then here, I was kind of trying to figure out how to lay this out in the best way, because I did have a little bit more space than I thought I would, but also I was definitely making use of the space for the living room. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I also need a dining table. That would be nice to have that because the kitchen's going to be rather small. So I decided to move some things around. I placed the door into the second bedroom off of the kitchen, actually, and that's the one I turned into an office space for 2 Sims, so with 2 desks. And then that gave me the space here to add in a nice dark wood dining table with these really beautiful dark blue dining chairs that are from the Cozy Comfy, not the gamer kit, but the Cozy Kitsch, I think is what it's called. It's one of the other creator kits that came out a while ago. I really, really love that one. I made a lot of use of that one for the cafe, actually, for the cafe furniture, and then also in this apartment, I definitely use it a couple times as well. But then here we have the kitchen, and obviously, naturally, I had to use the brand new base game kitchen counters because I am obsessed with those, and I will be overusing those for the next few months, probably, because I just think they're so good. Especially here in this apartment with all the dark woods going on, I just thought it was nice to add in a dark wood kitchen with black appliances. The green tiles I'm using in the kitchen are also from the Blast from the Past rewards, actually. So again, if you're not playing those rewards, if you haven't unlocked those tiles, I don't think these will be visible in your game. However, I think for some people they still show up, and then for others they don't when you build or when you download stuff off of the gallery with the Blast from the Past items, even though you haven't unlocked them. I think it still shows up for some people, but not for everyone. So no promises there, but I did use a green tile here that you could easily swap out for the new honeycomb tile in base game, for example, in one of the green colors. I think that would look awesome in here as well. I think that would look really beautiful. As long as it's green, I think you're good to go. Or if you don't like green, obviously you can change anything you want, but I just think that green looks really good in here. So for this kitchen, it's kind of crammed. I was definitely fiddling around with the layout for the counters, but I think it worked out really, really well. I even have the space for the tiniest island here. It's really, really small and it's kind of crammed, but that's what I was going for. I still think it looks really cute. We have some appliances here. There's a nice coffee nook, and then also a microwave, and I even had the space for some cat food in here as well, which was nice because we do have a cat, obviously. And then just a couple of wall decorations, and then that's all I had space for. Off of the living room is where we're gonna have the bedroom, and for the longest time I wasn't sure what bed to use in here, and then I actually came to the conclusion that this one looks good. It's the one from the Modern Living kit, or Modern Living, is that what it's called? Chic Modern, I'm not remembering all these kit names, there's so many of them, but in any case, this bed is really classic looking, if that's how you can say it. I don't really know how to explain it, but it just looks very luxurious and almost a little bit over the top, but like in the best way, especially in this dark brown color. It ties into the rest of the color scheme in here with all the dark woods. And I just think it's so pretty. So that's what I used. And then I combined it with an older thrifted looking wardrobe from Horse Ranch, which is kind of a wild combo of things. But I think it looks really nice because I was definitely trying to tell the story of like newer furniture pieces in here, and then there's also some thrifted furniture items, so it's definitely a mix and match of different things. And then next to the bedroom, off of the kitchen actually, is where we're gonna have the office. Obviously, I wanted there to be another cat tree in the office because that is just vibes. It's cozy to have your cat hang out in the cat tree when you're gaming, because I was definitely thinking of one of these Sims as a gamer, because I really wanted to use the comfy gamer stuff, obviously. So I was trying to find an excuse to use that and make it make sense, and that was pretty easy. We were just kind of saying that one of the Sims living in this apartment is a gamer, so they have a gamer setup, and then their partner is less of a gamer, and they basically only use their desk for business purposes. So they just have a little laptop and then some binders and just some books and stuff on their desk. So that one's a little bit more businessy looking, and the other one's a little bit more gamer looking. So I thought that was a really fun thing to do in here. Then we also have a bookcase in here, and then I almost forgot the litter box, but I decided, you know what, the litter box, it can go in the office. I'm sorry, it's gonna probably be a little messy, it's gonna be a little smelly, but it was a nice area. I had the space for a litter box right there, so I used it. I did that. And then here off of the hallway, we have a bathroom for the apartment, which is just a very simple bathroom with a shower tub combo, a sink, a toilet, my classic layout for a bathroom. Honestly, this is my go-to layout depending on where the door is situated, but yeah, this worked out really nicely. But then that's gonna be it for the speed build, so let's jump into the game and I'll show you this lot in real time. So here we have the build in the game. It looks really nice here on this corner lot. I really tried to tie it into the sidewalk. Unfortunately, we don't have a tile that matches that exactly, but we do have something that looks sort of good, so it almost blends in perfectly here to this corner, and I feel like it just looks really inviting. So out front here is where we have an area for the cafe, obviously. There is an entrance into the offices and an area where you can park your bike. There are a couple of mailboxes here. These are mostly obviously for the apartment to use. And then I just kind of decorated it to blend in with the surrounding area. In the back here is where I created a parking lot. I thought that would be realistic, especially for these offices, or, you know, just in general, I thought that would be nice. Thankfully, we have this driveway kind of moment here on the sidewalk as well, so that makes it look a little bit more realistic, I guess. And then in the back here is where we have an outdoor lunch area for the offices. I do see that my terrain paint got yeeted, so that is a little bit unfortunate. Not everywhere. Okay, well then maybe I just forgot to do terrain paint there. In any case, I'm sorry. And then here is where we have some extra tables and chairs for the cafe. And then out here is just a few benches. There's no back door here out of the gym. There's also a few picnic benches here. I thought that would be cute since we do have this pond back here where your Sims can actually do some fishing as well. There's this little fishing sign, so. But then let's go inside. I'll show you the floor plan because I know that's a little messy. So starting off with the office over here. So essentially you just walk straight into the office where we have some cubicles. There's a kitchenette here. This bathroom actually belongs to the cafe, so I'll show you that in a second. And then through this door is where we have the staircase, and then there's also a front door for the apartment here on the side as well. So this is the office where we just have a bunch of cubicles. There is some bookcases, just some storage and whatnot, and this is just a very generic looking office. I love love how these couches look with this setup as well. They're just so pretty. Through this door here is where we have that kitchenette. So this is all set up for a little break room, I guess. We have a coffee maker, a microwave, a fridge. There is a dishwasher here as well, and then a really nice round table. There's also a vending machine. And then when we go upstairs, there's a small landing here with another vending machine, and then there are a few bathrooms over here for the offices to use. And then on this side here is where we have more desks, more office. Essentially, there is a nice area here by the window where you can sit and just do some reading, take a small break, or maybe sit here with your laptop. There's a mini fridge and a microwave in the back, and then I guess just a bunch of desks. And in the back here is a meeting room where there is a nice long table with 6 desk chairs, a little pie chart because everyone needs that, and then there's a whiteboard and a TV on the wall as well. And then in the back here is where there is a door into where the apartment actually starts. They do have their own front door here essentially, so they don't have to walk through the offices to get to their apartment, but they do have to use this shared hallway through the office essentially to get into their apartment. So this is their interior front door, you could say, and then this is where the residential area starts. So there's a hallway here with some laundry. I also parked a bike in here, but for the rest I just kept this really, really simple. And then going up the stairs is where there is another hallway section, I guess, with some storage here. I placed some umbrellas. Off of this hallway is where there's a bathroom. So that's their full bathroom. And then this is, I guess, their third front door into the apartment itself. And it looks like this. So it's pretty simple. They just have this open living and dining room space. It's very moody when it comes to the color scheme, but I actually really like that. I think these colors are gorgeous. So there's definitely a mix of older and newer furniture going on. They have a cat. As you can see, there's also a nice dining table set up here. Through this door is a bedroom. Nice and simple, but I really, again, like the colors in here. There's just a lot of dark wood and brown and green going on for this one. Back here is where we have the kitchen. Again, a lot of dark woods. I really like these counters. I think they're so pretty, and especially with the gold hardware, I feel like it mixes really nicely with the appliances from Life and Death. In the corners where they have a coffee nook and also a microwave, and then off of the kitchen, they have their shared office. So there's some gaming going on this side, and this one's a little bit more tidy looking, just meant for business purposes, I guess. There's also a litter box in here and some decorations. And then it's time to move on to the cafe. So over on the side here is where we have the cafe, and this floor plan is just a little bit more simple and like easier to follow, I guess. So there's a sliding glass door leading you into the cafe, and it has a couple of tables and chairs, obviously the barista section over here. I tried to keep enough routing space around here for it to actually be functional and not feel too cramped, but we do have some seating here. I really like this area in the front. I think that's really cute. And then in the back here is where we have a storage closet like this, and then a bathroom, obviously, for customers to use over here. And then the cafe actually is a little loft. So the staircase leads to the second floor where we essentially just have some more seating spaces. I really wanted to include some love seats as well. I just thought that that would be so cozy, so I created these little setups here. And then there are a few extra tables on this side as well. And my favorite feature is this green subway tile wall. I love it so much. Moving on to the gym. This one's a little bit more self-explanatory as well. It is just a gym. When you first walk in, there is this little desk, this little office, sign-in area, I guess. You can grab some towels. You can buy a water bottle that probably has the gym's logo on it. There's some supplements on display here that you could probably also purchase. And then for the rest, it is just a gym with a bunch of equipment. I really like this pink moment here. The pink and purple treadmills I think are glorious. And then we have a really nice TV here for some background noise, some areas to sit down or just like put your stuff down, weightlifting machines. There are punching bags, kettlebells, all that kind of stuff ready to use. And then this one's also a loft. We have this really cool sign here on the wall that's really big. I just think that that looks awesome. And then we have a tiny yoga class here on the second floor. 3 participants, so it's really exclusive. And then we also have some meditation stools. There's some counters in the back here just to fill up the space a little bit. And then over here is where we have the bathrooms and the locker room. So it's very self-explanatory, a toilet and a shower. And then we have a bunch of lockers in here and some sinks and a mirror, of course. But that is actually it for this build. So this office, cafe, gym, apartment lot is up on the gallery. That's literally what I called it because I was lost. I didn't know what to call it, so I just wrote down what it was, essentially. I uploaded it as a generic lot to the gallery, but you could obviously also use it as a cafe. You can set it to a gym. It's really however you want to use it, especially when the new pack comes out. You could set it to a small business. I feel like there's a bunch of possibilities for this one. It's by no means limited pack. As you can see, I used a bunch of them. And I built it on a 40 by 30 in the world of New Crust, so if you want to place it in your game, then that's where it goes. But that's gonna do it for today's video, so I really hope that you enjoyed this one. You can obviously go ahead and download it off the gallery like I just showed you. My username on the gallery is Simmary Sims. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like. My username on there is Simmary Sims as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, feel free to do so. And if you'd like to get notified every single time I upload, click that little bell icon. I also live stream over on Twitch a few times a week, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow over on twitch.tv/Simmary Sims. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!